You learn to move slightly to the side, not because someone tells you to, not because a rule appears. It happens in small moments that repeat often enough to shape the way you stand in the world. You begin to notice how easily space fills when someone else steps forward. A louder voice enters the room. A stronger opinion appears in the conversation. A person reaches across the table before you do. The moment adjusts around them. You watch this happen many times. Slowly, you learn where your place is inside it. When two people start speaking at the same time, you stop first. You let your sentence fall away before it fully forms. The other voice continues. The conversation moves forward. Nothing becomes awkward. Nothing needs to be corrected. You notice how smooth that feels. So the next time it happens, you do the same thing. Your words pause before they reach the air. Your body shifts half a step to the side. Someone else moves through the space you just left open. The moment continues without friction. You begin to anticipate it. When a doorway becomes narrow, you step aside before anyone asks. When a group gathers around something, you take a place at the edge. When hands reach toward the same object, you pull yours back first. These are quiet movements. They do not ask for recognition. From the outside, they look like consideration, like patience, like someone who knows how to make room for others. You tell yourself that this is simply the polite way to move through shared spaces. Over time, the movement becomes natural. Your body senses where attention is going and adjusts before it arrives. Your voice softens when another voice grows stronger. Your posture shifts so someone else can stand more comfortably. You stay present. You stay aware. You stay careful not to interrupt the flow of the moment. The room feels easier when nothing collides. And so you learn how to remain part of what is happening without placing yourself in the center of it. You stand nearby. You listen. You leave the path open. Not absent, just slightly to the side. You begin to notice the space before you notice yourself. You watch how people move through it. Who speaks first? Who reaches for things without hesitation? Who steps forward when something needs to be done? You study the rhythm of the room. When someone else moves toward the center, you pause. You let them arrive there first. It happens so naturally that it hardly feels like a decision. Your body simply waits for a moment that may never come. When two people approach the same place, you slow down. Your steps become smaller. You allow the other person to pass through the space that could have been yours. The moment continues easily. You notice that nothing becomes tense when you do this. No one needs to shift their position or correct the flow of the room. Everything stays smooth. That smoothness begins to feel important. So you start doing it more often. You watch conversations the same way you watch movement. When voices overlap, yours becomes quieter. When someone speaks with confidence, you let your thoughts stay inside your mind for a little longer. Sometimes they remain there. You tell yourself that this is simply awareness, that you are paying attention to what the moment needs. You are leaving room for others to move freely. The room seems comfortable when no one has to compete for attention. Over time, your body learns the shape of this adjustment. Your shoulders angle slightly away from the center of a group. Your hands stay close to your body. When people gather around something, you take a place near the edge. You can still see everything from there. You can still hear the conversation. but you are not the one the room rearranges itself around. This begins to feel familiar. You recognize the quiet satisfaction that comes when the moment passes without friction. No one feels interrupted. No one needs to make space because you have already done it. Your presence becomes softer. You move through doorways by letting others go first. When objects sit between two people, you wait to see who reaches for them. If another hand moves forward, you pull yours back before it arrives. The moment stays calm. People rarely notice these small shifts. They simply experience you as someone who moves easily through shared spaces. Someone who does not push forward. From the outside, it looks like patience, like politeness. Inside, it is a constant awareness of where you stand in relation to everything around you. You measure the room without meaning to. You sense the direction attention is moving. And when it moves away from you, you allow it to continue. Not because you disappear, but because stepping aside has become the easiest way to remain inside the moment without disturbing it. You begin to notice how early the movement happens. It appears before anyone asks you to move, before anyone signals that space is needed. Your body reads the moment and adjusts quietly. When someone leans forward, you lean back. When a voice grows stronger, you lower yours. The change is small enough that most people never see it happen. At first, it feels like awareness. You tell yourself that you are simply paying attention to the room. You see where attention is moving, and you let it move there without resistance. You tell yourself that this is how shared spaces stay calm. Someone steps forward. Someone else steps aside. The moment flows without friction, so you begin to do it earlier. When a conversation becomes crowded, you shorten your sentences before they fully arrive. If someone interrupts you mid-thought, you allow the interruption to remain. The discussion continues as if your sentence had already finished. You watch the way people lean toward the person who speaks with the most certainty. When that happens, you turn your attention there too. It feels easier to follow the direction the room has chosen. The movement becomes familiar. Your body learns the distance that keeps everything comfortable. When chairs pull closer together, you shift your own chair slightly back. When people gather around something interesting, you take a place where you can still see but do not block anyone else from stepping closer. You remain part of the circle while leaving its center open. Sometimes you notice the moment when you could stay where you are. Your voice has space to continue. Your thought is still forming. For a second, you feel the possibility of letting it finish. Then you measure the room. You feel how quickly attention might shift if you keep speaking. Someone might pause. Someone might look toward you. The moment might slow down while others wait for you to finish. So instead, you soften the end of the sentence. Your words fade before they reach their full shape. The conversation moves forward without stopping. The room remains smooth. This begins to feel like success. No one needs to adjust around you. No one has to step aside because you already have. The path stays open. People move through the moment easily. From the outside, it looks like patience, like someone who understands how to share space without crowding it. Inside, it becomes a quiet skill. You learn how to read the direction of attention before it arrives. You feel the moment when someone else is about to reach for the same place you are standing. Before their movement even begins, you shift slightly to the side. The room continues without interruption. You remain there. You listen. You follow the flow of voices and movement around you. You stay close enough to see everything clearly, but you keep your presence just outside the center of it. Not because you have disappeared, and not because you have been pushed away, but because stepping aside has become the easiest way to remain inside the moment without asking the room to make space for you. You carry this movement with you without noticing it most of the time. It sits quietly inside the way you move through rooms and conversations. When people gather, you already know where you will stand, slightly to the side, close enough to belong there, but not close enough to slow the movement around you. It feels natural now. When voices rise in a discussion, you listen. When someone reaches toward the center of attention, you allow the space to open for them. Your body understands the adjustment before you think about it. A small step back, a slight turn of the shoulders. The path becomes clear for someone else to move through. The moment continues easily. From the outside, nothing looks unusual. You are present in the room. You hear what is being said. You respond when the conversation turns toward you. But you rarely place yourself where the room needs to shift around you. You leave that place open. Sometimes you notice how quickly the adjustment happens. Someone begins to speak with certainty and you let their voice carry the moment forward. Someone moves closer to the center of the group and you shift half a step away. It keeps everything smooth. There is no conflict in the air. No pause where people look at each other to decide who should continue. The flow of the room remains steady. You remain there with it, not absent, not invisible, still part of the circle that forms around whatever is happening. You can see the expressions on people's faces. You can hear the changes in tone when the conversation moves from one person to another. But you hold your place just outside the center. It once made the moment easier. It allowed the room to keep moving without resistance. Over time, the movement settled into your posture, into the way your voice enters and leaves a conversation. You no longer think about stepping aside. You simply notice the direction of the moment and leave space for it to pass through.